have a real vested interest in the whole room.
Very vested.
Very vested.
We are mourning the threat to the death of our democratic journey. Our democratic values and its ethos have come under imminent threat under President Nana Addo Dankwa. Freedom of expression, which guarantees the expression of the other fundamental freedoms, is under threat. And therefore, we in the minority have convened this press interaction to put forth our reasons for staging a walkout on the day which was dedicated to respect the provisions of the Constitution in Article 67, which requires the President to give a message on the state of the nation. So let nobody attempt to give other reasons why we walked out. Our reason, fundamentally, is that the democracy is dear to us, its future dear to us, and the people of Ghana expects the dividends of the democracy. And we consider President Nana Addo Dankwa an eminent threat to the sustenance of the democracy in some of his actions. Since becoming president, Nana Addo Dankwa has conducted affairs of state with some kind of tyranny and authoritarianism. Those of you who have read Montesquieu very well, the tyranny of the prince is not as dangerous as the apathy of citizens. We refuse as a minority that we will not be that generation of citizens that will show apathy to those open threats to the sustenance of multi-party constitutional democracy in our country. We have, in the face of extreme provocation, exercised restraint and restrained our membership across the country. Note that the NDC remains one of the largest political parties in Ghana. As I listen to him and listen to the speaker, let me remind you and the Ghanaian public of the provisions of Article 3 of the Constitution, which oblige us, even as citizens, to seek to defend the Constitution. And it provides that Parliament shall have no power to make Ghana a one-party state. So those thinking of a dominating political party or one party dominating our republic only confirms our hidden fears that indeed that is their intention, to weaken the NDC, which obviously is the most potent opposition party in our country, and to remind the president that by extension Article 3 means that not even the president can do that. In any case, it is practically and democratically impossible for Nana Addo Dankwa today or in the future to preside over a one-party state in Ghana. It is not only constitutionally impossible, I say it is not possible graphically given the permutations in our country. The democracy we all toiled and sacrificed to establish, as I've indicated, is suffering from his high-handedness as President of the Republic. You have seen the impunity from officialdom. As we speak, you all know what happened in the Ayawasu West Wagon by-election in January 2019, which was state-sponsored terrorism and state-sponsored violence, though related to individual excesses in other areas like they mentioned Talensi or Cherpune. In this particular case, it was officialdom that was sponsored to unleash venom and violence on a lead opposition party in a primaries or an election where they didn't need to manifest desperation. You saw his attempt to set aside the recommendations of the Emil Short Commission report, and we are particularly worried, particularly his refusal to disband the illegal SWAT group. What we have noticed, and is one of our fundamental reasons for the walkout and boycott today, is that many of the NPP vigilantes, who are referred to as Delta Forces and others, have found their way into the security agencies. He has a duty to sweep them out, or we cannot trust their neutrality and impartiality as a state. We trust the Ghana Police Service as an institution of state, but not the police service heavily loaded by a SWAT team, which loyalty in our view will be to a political party and not the state of Ghana. And therefore, he must be seen. His known hoodlums belonging to those vigilante groups, he has to cage them in. You saw how they demonstrated that they were thirsty for blood in a by-election. What then will happen on December 7th in a major presidential and parliamentary elections when he sees obvious signs that he is losing and therefore does not have the mandate of the people of Ghana? We all know that President Nana Addo Dankwa in history supervised the cruel removal of the chairperson of the Electoral Commission and her deputies, something they had promised that they would do. You remember my colleague, when he let the cat out of the bag, when he stated emphatically that if the NPP was successful in compiling a new voter register, the NDC will never come back to power. The majority leader, Oseiche, he had to come back to re-explain himself. And compilation of a new voter register, we are also as a minority very concerned with the interference with the work of the Electoral Commission in the compilation of a new voter register. And they have decided to turn deaf ears to the cause of Ghanaians, including the opposition National Democratic Congress and even civil society groups. How can a register, and probably you want to know why we walked out, we are questioning his legitimacy because the register that gave birth to him, he says is not legitimate. So it's an illegitimate born of a birth of an illegitimate register, and want us to listen to him address the state of the nation. In what capacity? When the very register which produced him as president, produced 275 elected members of parliament, produced a creation of 6 additional regions, making Ghana 16 regions, produced elected district assemblymen and unit committee members, all of a sudden have become irrelevant, and in their words they say bloated every register, whether produced today or produced tomorrow, will be bloated because death occurs daily. And therefore, if you don't go to clean it of the dead, that bloating is a manifestation that some are dead. And therefore, at every time, the Akufo-Addo-led government, in accord with Jean Mensa, the Electoral Commission, you know, even some of their determination of who becomes a vendor to provide the data center, go and ask. The one who chaired the committee gave it to his contract. This is Ghana, where conflict of his company, the chairman of the evaluation committee, the media raised questions. Who is he? And which company did he recommend? Was it his own or not? And you say that we should not worry for the future of democracy. We worry. Now they have gone to even have data center stand alone, hardware stand alone, software stand alone. They don't understand harmonization and synchronization in the building of IT system. We look forward to Jean Mensa commencing that exercise she has announced. She tells you and the Ghanaian public that April 18th is just at the corner. We will see when the equipments come, when the men and officers are trained and they undertake the exercise. We in the NDC will continue our utmost protest against a new voter register. We should go into the elections with same voter register. They can improve it. And those of you who've been questioning the NDC, let nobody or let anybody contradict us. Facial recognition is not superior to fingerprints as data and providing security for the collection of data. Those of you who know IT well, the minutiae of a fingerprint is superior to that of a facial recognition. Therefore, we would not accept the excuse of an improved thing. The Akufo-Addo-led government, we cannot help but agree with the U.S. State Department Human Rights Report, which has raised concerns of possible voter suppression in opposition strongholds as a real intention for the needless and wasteful new voter register is to suppress our voters in the Volta region, and particularly in the Zangos and other areas where there are settlers in Ghana, as you've seen them do to those struggling for national ID card. Even my mother, they had to turn her away when she wanted a national ID. Until my senior brother intervened and did the documentation. So many more, those at her age, are not looking for opportunities at queuing. Every opportunity, go and queue for voter register, come and queue for national ID. Ghanaians want the dividends of democracy, not the continuous queuing. Under President Nana Addo Dankwa, media freedoms and freedom of expression have come under unprecedented attacks. You saw the investigative journalist Ahmed Hussein Swale assassinated in cold blood. You don't need to ask why, because they needed to destroy evidence for purpose of prosecution. Despite demands from the international community for action, many journalists continue to be attacked, with others having to seek refuge outside the jurisdiction. You know, it's not for nothing, and the NDC will take pride and credit that we liberalized the airways of Ghana. By the time we left office, the number of television stations had exceeded 200, radio stations over 300. It was to give meaning to freedom of expression as an ingredient for multi-party constitutional democracy. You cannot have a democracy without freedom of expression, and freedom of expression cannot stand without manifestations of what you do as media practitioners, the opportunity and the platform to do it. You see how all of a sudden radio stations that are critical of them, you've seen the Gestapo closures of those radio stations, including Radio Gold, Radio XYZ, and many others, Radio Tongo and Fox FM. And I gave you the example. I was Minister for Communication. There were many times that many of you, radio and TV, you were in arrears of your obligations it didn't mean that we should shut you down. We could. We had the same power on Monday. We could. Because there was a breach of you not settling some fees and others. No, we did not, because of the good of our democracy, that you media men and women contribute to its sustenance and exposing our wrongdoings. Therefore, we needed you to keep the platform. The growing culture of impunity and deterrence that has reached alarming proportions once again on the poll when agents of national security demolish businesses belonging to Ghanaians in the private sector. You've seen what happened to Raymond Archer. He's not alone. There are many Ghanaian businesses today who are suffering because they are NDC or related to NDC, who even executed contracts under the NDC and are suffering. They will pay those current and refuse to deal with arrears that accumulated. You've seen what they have done, and you've seen the defense to the destruction of the trade fair. As noted, these are not normal times. Desperate times call for desperate measures. If you see a pregnant goat in the market, it means there's a pregnant problem at home. So that's why you saw us in black. I'll pay royalties to him. And that's why we had to walk out to set a strong signal. Our tradition is credited for laying the foundation for the Fourth Republic. Many of you, if you recall what happened in 1993, we ushered in multi-party constitutional democracy, which has survived in the last 25-27 years, and will survive because we jealously protect and safeguard it against the oppressor's rule and the oppressor's hand. We've reminded the president that Ghana belongs to all of us, and so shall we all stand to defend the democracy we've all labored for. Like Thomas Jefferson, we declare, I have sworn upon the altar of God eternal hostility against every form of tyranny over the mind of man. Over the mind of man. So, ladies and gentlemen of the press, don't go and speculate why minority walk out. We are walking out because if these matters that you consider trivial are allowed to nature as they are, we do not see the future of our democracy. Today, even recruitment into the security agencies is now done secretly instead of open advertisement to the Ghanaian public. And yet we cannot question that. We need to question the loyalty of those citizens who enter the Ghana Police Service, the Immigration Service, the Ghana Forces and the Navy, because we don't want persons with doubtful loyalties to belong to those institutions of state, and for it to become a converting grounds for party vigilante groups who threaten them that if you don't give us a job, we'll deal with you. We fear that they will mar the beauty